I'm gonna repeat that again for all the people that's on the YouTube. We got Facebook going on right now, Facebook Live, and we also have YouTube, going on. So we got both of them going on, and yeah, as you can see, I'll do a little bit of this, to give y'all a little perspective of where I'm at. I'm not in a Motel 6, like Dr. Boy said about Umar, which was very, 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 very funny. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to all those cats that's out there. Also, we got Facebook Live going, and some of the things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the things that we can do in our part in 2018 on actually building an empire. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we also can do. Um, Hold on 1 second, you all. Let me give you the perspective for Facebook Live. I didn't get a chance to do Facebook Live, but here I am at the office. Um, I was able to build an empire myself on I'm building an empire with a lot of help with my team. We got about maybe 10 or 15 people that's been working with us for the last year. And we actually built, we are in the app business, and we have two apps that's out. Um, we have one that's a workout sports app. You can find that on YouTube, or you as for our marketing, and you can find it on Apple. It'll be on Android pretty soon, and that's Sports Connect us. And then we have one a safety app called Nutty Snap. Um, it's a very good app. We're gonna get ready to put that on the server, and we're gonna be working with getting that all done and making sure that's all good. I'm trying to get this video straight on the actually on the YouTube live. It's kind of like the video's messed up, but I'm gonna do the best I can. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to make it do what it do. Now, my opinion about building an empire, I think that the first thing we have to do is really we got to remove all the negative thoughts that's in our head, and we have a lot of negative thoughts. Let me give a shout out to Keys is in the building. We got Eddie Croft is watching. We got some people came in the building. I want to acknowledge those people that came in the building. But we have to remove that negative thing that stops us from growing and from becoming who we can actually become. And it's really hard when you deal with people that is either selfish or it's all about them. You know what I'm saying? And you get that a lot when people that's trying to come up. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with being very confident in yourself and being about yourself, but you also got to understand that it really takes a village. You know what I'm saying, to be successful and just acknowledge that village. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that we can do. Because you always hear people talk about what we gonna do, what we gonna do. That's all we ever hear. And some of it's negative, and it's like crabs in a bucket type mentality where they really only saying that because they don't really want to do anything about their condition. And I don't know about you, but I don't enjoy working 9 to 5 jobs or working for anybody. I want us to be free and be able to have our own and be able to um, educate our own and do what we can, on our own. You know what I mean? Because um, putting your whole life in the hands of another person, you know, is not the business in 2018. You got to get out of that slavery mentality. You know what I mean? That mentality is killing us because we spend too much time, and when we talk about 40 hours a week, we spend too much time working for somebody else, somebody else's dream, and we're only doing it because we need the money or we need the health care or whatever. And our lives should be governed by that. You know what I'm saying? We should have our own systems put in place where if we do work with somebody, it's not a master slave relationship. So, in my opinion, building an empire starts with getting rid of all that negative stuff that's in our mindset. And I truly believe if we can master that and if we can do that, you know what I mean, we could be very, very successful. I want to let you hear a little bit of Dr. Boyce before I really start my show. Um, he's somebody that really helped me get through a lot of what I got through this year. It's keeping me focused, giving me new ideals, and and giving me a lot of game. And game is sold, not told. So I'm gonna let you listen a little bit to my boy Dr. Boyce. Let you see a little piece of it. You'll be able to hear it, but you won't. I can't show you
that
everything.
just that aren't really as focused and they that affects you. Just sitting down, going out to dinner with people, when you really should be out maybe an hour or two, but you're out for like 4 or 5 hours because we tend to let time go. Your two biggest resources that you have, at least two, that you have to invest with are your money and your time, and then also your education. Those are the three of the many things that you can actually invest. So a lot of us end up kind of wasting those three things. We spend all our money with people that don't like us. We give all of our time to stuff that we shouldn't be giving it to. Also, we take our education and we use our education to build a white man's business. You're building something that's run by a bunch of white supremacists, not building something for your community. It's like my PhD. I could have used my PhD teaching white kids my whole life. I would have been paid very well for that. But instead, I wanted to use my PhD to teach black people because I wanted my doctorate to have a direct impact on the black community. So, what I would say to you is, you really have to protect your time. I don't really, people that know me at all know that I'm not on the phone that much. I don't really talk on the phone. I bring people onto my team. I pay people to talk on the phone for me because I have to be focused. There's only 24 hours in a day, and you have to invest that time carefully. So, in my opinion, if you're trying to build your family empire, build your family business, take it seriously in the sense that you don't want to waste your time. Don't let small-minded people kind of waste your time. Having a small mind is the death of any possibilities you might have. I'd rather be a dumb person who thinks big than a smart person who thinks small. That's my 2 cents. So actually, I have a class. Actually, if you want to take a look at it, on how to manage your time, how to set goals, how to overcome obstacles, how to deal with adversity, stuff like that. I think it's a really good program. There's a lot of content. I lay in a lot of life skills. It's not a financial program. It's just purely about life and everything I figured out along the way, rules that I apply to certain situations. So if you want to check it out, you can actually get a 30-day free trial. You can go to blackkeystogreatness.com. That's blackkeystogreatness.com. And once again, if you're in London, you can go to Dr.
All right, all right. That's a little bit about Dr. Boyce. Kicking a little game. You know what I'm saying? It happens. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, we have to manage our time, and we only have so much time in a day. And if you're giving 40 hours of your time to someone else's dream, you know what I mean? You don't have enough time to start building your own. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I would rather have my future in my hands than to have it in somebody else's hands. Because if that person start looking, if he's in business and he start looking at numbers and he's not looking at people, he's looking at percentages and numbers. That's when they start cutting people because what I'm saying. Say if they made 1 million this year in profit, you know what I'm saying, and they have goals on making 2 million, and they're not able to do that because they need to lay off 500 people or whatever. You might be on a chopping block, and then you have, you're back stuck in back to ground zero again, and it's sad because a lot of our people we do that. We go in cycles. We'll have a good job, for about 5 years, 6 years, and then that company packs up and then leaves us hanging, and then we're at a point where you know we don't even know what to do. We try to look for a job, we can't get a job. So, in my opinion, we need to start creating our own jobs. You know what I mean? I don't know about you, but we have the population, we have the numbers. Everybody wear underwear, everybody wears shirts, everybody wears socks, everybody wear pants. Those are all things that we can do. You know what I mean? If we as a community start focusing on things that we should be focusing on, and we should not be focusing on nothing other than the survival of our people. You know what I mean? And that's the honest to God truth. I'm just keeping it real with you. I'm not saying I'm not worried about the other communities. They could do whatever they're gonna do. You know what I mean, and that's all good. You know what I mean. If they do what they're gonna do, and they've been doing what they're gonna do. If you ever look at you come down here to downtown Oakland, the Asians have about 4 or 5 different banks, and they're able to lend to their people, and they're able to um, um, get loans for big businesses and do things right here in their community. And a lot of them haven't been in this country that long, but they're well set up and well established, and we need to start taking a little advice from them, and start supporting our own and doing our own. There's nothing wrong with doing business with anybody else, other than us, but it has to be on an equal playing field. It can't be this 90-10 anymore. You know what I mean? Where they're reaping 90% of the profits, and we're reaping 10. It can't be that type of relationship anymore. Now I'll talk about myself. Like I say, I built a company called Grow for Tech LLC. Y'all go check it out. It's the first real social media network that's not spying on you. It's a fully website with a news feed. It has It has a filter in there. So unlike IG, if you don't want to see all of that, you could just all you want to see is yoga. All you're gonna see is yoga. If you want to see photography, all you're gonna see is photography. You know what I mean? So it's something that you definitely can download and you can start using. You know what I mean? There's no reason not to. It's the same reason why when people start using IG is not wasn't meant for what it's being used for now. You know what I mean? That is the honest to God truth. IG is not was IG is a photographer app. That's exactly what it is. It's a photographer app. And they turned it into whatever they turned it into, but the bottom line is that what you got to realize is that most of these platforms it was made for something else, and they use them for whatever they're using them for. And it's time for us, as a people, to get smart and start communicating on our own platforms. So you don't have to worry about getting kicked off if you say the wrong thing or if you do the wrong thing or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? I did the hard work already. I spent 11 months, me and my people, building a social media app from scratch, trying to build this empire. You know what I mean? I did the hard work, and it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? It wasn't just me. It was a full team of writing code, designs. Everything came out of my head, though. You know what I mean? And a lot of us, we have this right here in our head, building the future of our kids right here. You know what I mean? And we just have to start, coming together and stop backstabbing each other, and come together on a common goal. And in my opinion, one of those goals is to educate our people. You know what I mean? Start coming up with ideas, which we are very, very good at. We're very good at coming up with ideas, but actually implementing and going all the way with it. You know what I mean? Because an ideal is just an ideal. You know what I mean? A lot of us, and I will say this, a lot of us is sitting on a pile of gold counting pennies. Now, I want y'all to understand that. You know what I mean? A lot of us, you know what I mean? We have brilliant opportunities that a lot of people around this earth does not have. You know what I mean? We live in the United States of America, where we are not really, even the poorest person in America is not doing as bad as some places on this earth. Trust me and believe me. When you have to go look for water, and you have to go look for shelter at night because it's cold, and you have to hope that you're gonna eat this week, you know what I mean? That's when you got problems. In America, all of us is fat. Most of us got diabetes. You know what I mean? So we have to correct the negativity that's within us, and that's been put in us over 400 years of slavery. You know what I mean? And get out of that mindset and start understanding that there ain't nothing holding us back. You know what I mean? A lot of us, we try to go to school because we try to follow that dream, and a lot of us is educated fools. And I'm sorry to say that. You know what I mean? But I keep it real. You know what I mean? I don't sugarcoat nothing. Y'all can look at all my Facebook shows on finances and relationships, and I keep it 100 because the people have got to understand that once we get serious about trying to change something in this world and trying to build an empire for 2018, it has to start with us. It doesn't start with anybody else. It starts with us. You know what I mean? And it's sad to say that, but that's the honest to God truth. You know what I mean? And I get on here and do these shows for because I'm a radio host. I have a radio host called Just My Opinion on Blog Talk, and I also have also just a regular show on YouTube called Just My Opinion. Y'all go there, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to our apps, download the apps, post, share, 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 share. You know what I mean? That's all I want you to do. It's nothing hard. It's nothing because, see, once we get the numbers up, you know what I mean, we can't be stopped. And what I mean by that is when we got like 10, 20, 30, 40,000 people that then downloaded the app and posted on the app, then it changes things because then big companies start to look at us differently as people wants to start advertising. You know what I mean? And that's where the advertising dollars start to come in. And once some advertising dollars come in, then that's when we can start building communities. Now, I had said a little something on Dr. Boyce in the little comment section. I had said that we need to take over some small towns. We have small towns across America, especially from Oakland all the way to Las Vegas. There's small towns, no less than 500 people, where we can actually buy up all the real estate in those towns and take over the police department and take over the city council in that city and take over pretty much all the functions and take over that whole town and turn that town into one of our towns that we could start to build our movement. You know what I mean? And I think that if we could do that, because we have most of these towns is already established, you know what I mean? And they already have an established type of government that we can easily take over. And the real estate is going to be dirt cheap. I checked it out already. You can get 2 or 3 acres for, $5,000 or $6,000. You know what I mean? You can get 100 acres for little or nothing. So we come together, put all our resources together when we can make this happen. You know what I mean? And it's on the way to Vegas, so everybody that goes to Vegas automatically just stop in. You know what I mean? And like I say, the town, 400 or 500 people, we send 250 people there, we automatically gonna take over the town. You know what I mean? And start there. Because most of those towns, they already have schools, they have a police department already in place, they have a lot of real estate for dirt cheap. A lot of it is farm. You know what I mean? So we can use some of that real estate as the farming needs, where we can start setting up organic farming for our people. And when they move there, we'll only be a couple hours away from Vegas. We'll be a couple hours from the Bay, and we'll be a couple hours from LA. So those are just hubs. And when we get it all established, we can actually create a black museum for black people. You know what I mean? I know they have one in a couple different states, but we could put one right here in California. You know what I mean? And that's the honest to God truth. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you facts. You know what I'm saying? When I first started this movement, everything was just on a piece of paper. We didn't have anybody to implement what I wanted to create. You know what I mean? It started from scratch. I had a couple people like Keith that's always been there. You know what I mean? That's always supported us in our movement. You know what I mean? Him and his son. You know what I mean? Which is a great mighty lion, which is a great little young fighter. You know what I mean? We had people like we had a lot of people, man, that's been there. Boxing Ego. We had Troy King. People that's always been there. Cream Mayfield. We got a lot of people that's been there from day one. And like I say, when building an empire, the first thing that we have to start is get rid of the negativity. You know what I mean? It starts there. Once we get rid of negativity and I can't, get rid of the I can't. You know what I mean? That I can't is killing us. You know what I mean? Because we don't see ourselves being successful, and we can be very successful because we have a lot of ideals that a lot of people don't even get a chance to implement because you kill your dream before you even start. You know what I mean? And that's the honest to God truth. You kill your dream before you even start. And that's sad because what I'm telling you is you don't have to do that. You do not have to kill your dreams. You need to follow your dreams and build a team. And if you ain't got a team, come get on my team. You know what I mean? I need all the help I can, man. Advertisement is no joke. A lot of companies spend a lot of money advertising. And we started our YouTube campaign about a year ago, year and a half ago, and we've been grinding ever since on that because we were really trying to build an empire. And apps is one of the ways where we can make a lot of money worldwide. You know what I mean, and be connected at the same time. So y'all think about that. I didn't want to really get on here long. I really wanted to just talk about some things that was on my mind. I will touch on a few issues that been on my mind lately. I know Umar and Dr. Boyce and Tariq, they've been having issues lately. Hopefully they'll iron all that out. In my opinion, all the stuff that's done in the dark will come into light. You know what I mean? And that's the honest to God truth. You know what I mean? I can't do nothing but speak, the truth. You know what I mean? When you start talking about real issues, and anybody that's trying to be in this movement or the conscious movement that's trying to be dictators or all about me, we'll never be successful running behind people like that. You know what I mean? Because it's not about you. It's about all of us coming together and seeing ourselves the way we actually see ourselves. And what that means is that we already see ourselves as kings and queens, and we need to start acting like kings and queens. You know what I mean? And stop, falling for the okie doke every time. And you can't say nowadays it's so much easier for you to actually quit your job and join a movement because now you have Uber, you got Airbnb, you got all these things, you know what I'm saying, that we have now that you can implement. And the thing about all of that is that, you can use these things. You have Obamacare now. It's not great. It's not the awesomest thing. The rates are going up, but you have those at your disposal if you happen to want to leave your job and, really, build something that can, not only help our kids, but our kids' kids, our kids' or, you know what I mean, or you know what I mean, and that's real. And what I'm saying, that's very real because that's exactly what we need. We have a couple people. We got Roz, we got Keith, we got Michael. I just want to acknowledge some of the people that came in. Morris, like I say, Eddie. You know what I mean? Shout out to Eddie Croft, man. One of the best professional boxers. That's one of the greats. You know what I mean? That's been out there. Like I said, our condition is not going to change until we change. Once we change, you know what I mean, then that's when, you're going to see, us really having wealth. You know what I mean? Because when we talk about wealth, we're always just looking good. We'll go buy a car. The car looks good. We'll buy a house. We'll have a nice little chain. You know what I mean? We have some diamond rings. You know what I mean? We look good. You know what I mean? But that's not looking. That's not reality. You know what I mean? If you really want to look good, you want to own the land, own the house, own the car that you fronting in, not leasing, own. You know what I mean? You want to be owners. You don't want to just look good. You don't want to live that life because, see, what that produces stress because you're stressing about paying that rent, paying that car note, paying all these bills that you have, and that's not the ticket. I'm telling you, that is not the ticket. That ain't nothing but stress. Because the only thing you doing is fronting. Old school term, fronting. That's all you doing. You're not doing anything else other than fronting. And when you really think about it, you know what I mean? People that has real wealth, they don't spend money. You don't even see, half of them cats don't even have diamond rings. They have like $20 shirts, $15 pants, $20 shoes. You know what I mean? And honestly, it's nothing wrong with having nice things, but if your situation is not nice, how's that gonna help you build the empire? You know what I mean? When we talk about building the empire, man, I'm talking about really actually going out there and doing it. You know what I mean? Really going out there, you know what I'm saying, and building things like apps. Apps is $1 billion industry. Snapchat didn't make any money for 5 years. It was all projected money that they thought it was worth. And then when it went public, you know what I'm saying, Snapchat made 15 billion in one day. Okay? And that's the potential of apps. Just to let you know, when you got that kind of money running around, the potential of that kind of money, that can change lives. You know what I mean? And yes, Ross, they do have to put their egos aside. You know what I mean? That's the truth. And Keith Jordan, you know, we need to pull. What does that say? Balconies on Wall Street. One more time, yes, we need to do the Black Wall Street. You know what I mean? Of Tulsa, Oklahoma. We need to get back to that. We could do it. It's easy. It's right there for us, man. Look, let me tell you, man. It's people always say what you can and what you can't do. You could do anything if you set your mind to it. You know what I mean? And in terms of schooling, when you want to talk about schooling, way I was taught, you can have a university under a tree if you got the right teachings. So y'all going out there spending $100,000 on school and they not teaching y'all nothing. Y'all getting out and y'all ain't getting no job. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, man. You cannot be that. You got to start waking up. I literally was talking to this girl. And she was telling me that she spent $200,000 on her kids' education. And I was like, well, that's awesome. That's great. But the problem is, her job kind of laid her off, kind of fired her. And she had a good job. You know what I mean? She's been working there 32 years. You know what I mean? And now she's battling them for discrimination. You know what I mean? And now her future is not, is not certain. You know what I mean? She might win a lawsuit. I'm not saying she won't. But I'm just saying, now as you done spent all this money on education, now your daughter is not working. You know what I mean? She graduated from college. That's great. That is wonderful. But if you don't put those educations to use and put them to actually building an empire and building something, it's worthless. You know what I mean? Because we got to understand one thing. When we start building this empire, we got to understand one thing about life nowadays. Okay? When you follow that path of going down that path, going to, UC Berkeley, going to all these different places, right? The problem with that is that the people that's in power, that might be a great move for them, but your people are not in power. So when it comes time for you to graduate and then go out there and get a job, you got to go to them for the job. And guess what? You know what I mean? You got to play by their rules. And the bottom with that is that, you really don't fit into their world. So what normally happens is you get hired, you start working there, and then you find out that people that you're working with is assholes. And some of them are just straight out racist. And I'm not just talking about Republicans. I'm not just talking about Democrats. I'm talking about, you have to hear all the corny little black jokes because you're the only black in the building. You know what I mean? That ain't no life. I'm going to tell you, man, you be stressed out every day. Stress will kill a vegetarian. You know what I mean? I don't know what y'all thinking, but to me, that's not success. I honestly, when I grew up, I thought that was success. You know what I mean? But when you look at the whole picture, it's not. That little 90,000, 100,000, or 150,000 that they're gonna give you ain't even worth it. You can have that little BMW out there and have that little nice house out and way out somewhere, still not worth it. You know what I mean? Because when you come home, you gotta deal with the bullshit. You got to deal with the bullshit, and they don't accept you. And I'm not saying that, that some people that want that dream, hey, go for it. You know what I mean? But just understand that anything that you do in life is you have to deal with whatever it comes with it. You know what I mean? And there's bullshit that comes with that. You know what I mean? You have to understand that. It's bullshit that comes with that. Now, what's the benefits of having your own community? like I say, take over one of these towns, less than 500 people, 250 of us show up. We buy up all the real estate, take over the police department, take over the city council, take over all the functions of government. You know what I mean? By voting us in, voting our people in, or whatever. Then what we'll have a whole city ran by us, and we could do what the fuck we want to do. Excuse my French. I don't normally curse, but excuse my French. We could do whatever we want to do in that community, and that's what we should be thinking about. And we shouldn't be thinking about going to work at AT&T or going to work at UPS or none of that stuff. Because guess what? They're gonna be hogging up all your what time, and that 40 hours, believe it or not, it adds up. That takes time away from your kids. That takes time away from your wife and your family. You know what I mean? What we got to do, we got to remove the negativity out of our family, get rid of all those crabs in the bucket brothers. You know what I mean? And come with some real facts and come with some real shit. You know what I mean? I don't like to curse, but we got. It gets me upset because when I think about it, all the people that told me, "Oh, you can't build this app, you can't do this," you know what I mean? You don't have the money, you don't have the know-how, you don't have it. Let me tell you something. I have a brain. You know what I mean? I do have a brain, and I was able to build it. You know what I mean? With the team that we worked together, we had a lot of meetings, 30 meetings. We built it from scratch. We could build what we talking about, this movement, from scratch. All we got to do is come together. Stop talking about it, be about it. You know what I mean? Us young folks that's still in the game, quit talking about it, let's be about it. Put our money together, let's get it cracking. Let's start a fund, let's do it. We find a town that we want to take over, go do it. Stop talking about it. You know what I mean? They have almost 200 cities from Oakland to Vegas that we could take over. Why am I saying that route? I'm saying that route because that's already a well-traveled route by everybody. Coca-Cola on down. They all have to travel that route to get to Vegas to deliver their goods. That's why I'm trying to tell you that that's what we need to do. You know what I mean? And we got another message from Keith. He said, I would rather have an empire with 5 to 10 fortune, 5,000 buildings. Yes. And then Shantae just came in the building. My boy Rice is watching. Give y'all some shout outs. You know what I'm saying? We doing this show about trying to build an empire. You know what I mean? And I hope I don't leave nobody out. Patrice is in the building. We in here, man. We just trying to come up with some solutions, man, where, we can actually, do something. You know what I mean? And I don't like talking. If you ever know me, I never, ever like talking about it. I like actually being about it. You know what I mean? And it's some components that we can actually implement that's going to make us healthy and get us off of that diabetes. You know what I mean? Along with our empire. We can start green juicing, working out in the gym, learning how to box, buying up real estate, making money, coming together. You know what I mean? We can do all of that. That's something that we can do. You know what I mean? That's not something that we can't do, family. And when I'm telling you that we can do it, all we got to do is we put our mind to it. We can do anything. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. You know what I mean? But what y'all do, man, y'all download that app. Go post. If you've already got the app, post on the news feed because more activity that you have on the app, it allows our investors to see how the app is doing, on the back end of the app. You know what I mean? I know y'all don't know too much about apps, but every time you use it, every time you post, every time you interact with the app, you know what I mean? They know on the back end, you know what I mean, what's going on, and that makes us better for us. You know what I mean? So, just think about that. Every time you post on IG and every time you post on Facebook, you know what I mean, post on our app. You know what I mean? Use the app. Post your events on the connection page. You know what I mean? Anything you got going on, just post it. You know what I mean? Because they see activity. That's what our investors look at. They look at activity on our app. You know what I mean? And it's huge for us. You know what I'm saying? So, I will stress that. And I will tell you, when about us building an empire, for me, that's the start. Because if somebody picks us up or somebody want to invest big dollars in a thing, you already know what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? For me, it's all about I'm ready to start taking over small cities that we can actually do. Less than 500 people. You know what I mean? We could take over those cities and we could build our own. We could build a gym. You know what I mean? We could build a museum there so we can get tourists coming in. We can make sure we got a nice airport so our people can fly in. You know what I mean? It's all kind of things that we could do if we set our mind to. We don't have to keep going along with this system that's in place. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell you, we do not have to keep going along with this system that's in place because I'm going to tell you, this system is very, very destructive for us and our people. And I'm just talking about our people right now. Normally I talk about everybody, but tonight I'm just talking about our people and us trying to build an empire. You know what I mean? That's what my focus is on today, is our people. You know what I mean? I don't believe in racism. Give you a disclaimer. You know what I mean? I believe we all can come together and do what we can do. You know what I mean? But at this time of day, we have to start thinking about us right now. You know what I mean? And once we get our stuff cracking like we had in Tulsa, Oklahoma with Black Wall Street, then we can start implementing other people and everybody can start joining in and contributing to what we got going on. But I'm kind of like Dr. Boyce. I don't really like donations. You know what I mean? I like doing trade. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody's money. I want us to come up with ideals on what we going to do. You know what I mean? As a people and how we going to get out of this rut that we're in. And it can be easily done. You know what I mean? But we just have to make those first steps. You know what I mean? Give a shout out to my auntie. Look like Shirley hopped in the building. We have also Keith, let's get together once a week. Yes, we need to do that. We need to sit down and write up a blueprint. You are absolutely right, Keith. We do need to do that. You know what I mean? And like I say, at this moment, I'm working with a brother that we trying to buy up some of this land right here in Richmond, California. You know what I mean? They got real estate for, $70,000 for lots. You know what I mean? That you can buy. You can go build make a blueprint for maybe $4,000 or $5,000, and then you can put a home there, right there on that lot. $60,000-$70,000 lots, $100,000, $90,000. I've seen some stuff for $190,000 overlooking the Bay Area. You know what I mean? They only want $190,000. $200,000, $300,000. Man, do you know how much a $300,000 lot would run you every month? You're looking at $1,300. That's it. Come on, family. We can do this. You know what I mean? And we can use that money to fund our big movement. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell you, if we come together, we can do this. Like I say, you know what I mean? I normally talk about everybody, but today I'm talking about our people. You know what I mean? Because our people right now under Trump is being attacked. You know what I mean? Whether you know it or not, you know what I mean? He's putting in stuff in place, getting ready to do what he want to do. And what he really wants to do, he want to do stop and frisk through the whole nation. You know what I mean? So we don't want our people to be put in jail anymore, you know what I mean, over weed. Because as you notice, they just made weed legal in California. You know what I mean? They just made, I'll say it again, they just made weed legal. So that means all of those 30 to 40 years that they've been putting us in jail because of Hoover and the Nixon administration, they actually created that. They created that so they could put us in jail. He said it on tape. Google it. If you don't believe what I'm saying. They created drugs and weed so that they created a law so they could put us in jail over that because they knew that we liked marijuana. You know what I mean? And marijuana is not even a bad drug. Marijuana is a great drug. You know what I mean? It has a lot of cures. It cures cancer. You know what I mean? It has a lot of stuff that it does. So, we have some rods. We have developed a parking lot or garage to charge parking. Yes, we can do that. All kind of things we can do when we got land. See, one thing when you buy land, and the reason why I say don't buy houses, I mean, if you could buy a house, buy you a house it's always a good investment depending on what you do with it. But the reason why I say buy land, you could do whatever you want to do with that land. And in California, what happens is when you buy a house, the whoever built the house and whoever is selling you the house, they've already took the equity out of the house. That's why the house is so expensive. So you can't get no more equity out of it. But it's still a good investment. It's always a good investment to buy a house. You know what I mean? But if you can, you know what I'm saying, buy some land, get with some brothers, man, and let's get into this housing gang like Donald Trump. And let's start making money and start building buildings and building cities. Because I'm talking about taking over cities. That's the movement I'm on. You know, I'm tired of playing with it. I'm tired of talking about it. Just like I was when I built this social media app, Sports Connect Us. I was tired of talking about it. I want to be about it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm about. You know what I mean? And, you know, we got to understand that. There's a message from Keith. He say, you know, but what I'm hearing about all that, the way that the legal and spraying is something, see what he's saying? I could barely see what he's saying. You know, yeah, we do need to wake up. We got Cinnamon. She's in here. So, yeah, like I say, first of all, you know, do me a favor. Subscribe to our YouTube channels. Just My Opinion. Host Big Rich. My app, Sports Connect Us. Y'all go subscribe to those channels, man, and help us out. Download that out and post on the news feed. Make sure the location button is on because it's a location app. And the way it works is that, you know, the way the location thing works, any city you go in, the people that's on top of the news feed, you can connect with those people. That's what we all need. We need that connection, whether we working out or whatever we doing. You know what I mean? We need that connection. So y'all go there, go download that app and post on the news feed. That's all my investors is look at. They want to look at the analytics of our app. You know what I mean? And that's the back end, y'all, of the app. So y'all check that out. I was doing these shows because of the app. But, you know, the sports app is a sports app, and we do have an app called Nutty Snap on Android, and that's for, you know, if you get any trouble with the police or if you, you know, or if you at an ATM machine and you about to get robbed, you can, you know, instantly record the videos sent instantly to your email. So even if they take the phone, it doesn't even matter. It's called Nutty Snap, NuttySnap. Y'all check us out, man. I do want to set the stages, you know, for starting to build this empire. You know what I mean? Honestly, like I said, we need to find some cities from here, from Oakland to Las Vegas, that has less than 500 people, and we need to take over these cities. Straight up. We could go in, buy up all the land, take over the police department, take over the city council, take over all that stuff, and build and do our own shit. You know what I mean? And this could be easily done. Because once we're there, you know what I mean? And once we start owning large parts of that land, that city becomes our city. You know what I mean? We don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying, trying to recreate the wheel. We could just run what we got and start building. We could put a museum there. We could put a boxing gym there. We need that for that fitness. You know what I mean? We could put a big fitness gym there. We could put a nice airport there. So our people can fly in from all over the world and come to our city. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about building. You know what I mean? Because we are natural builders, and we got to start using our minds. And I salute Dr. Boyce. He has helped me out 100%. Shout out to Dr. Boyce, and shout out to Tariq, and shout out to all the brothers in the conscious community, and all the brothers that's out there that's looking for leadership. I'm not a leader, you know what I mean? I'm a radio host, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been in the game for a long time, and I own a tech company called Grow for Tech LLC. It's verified. You can Google it, and you know I build apps. I'm technology. I'm a technical guy. I've always been that. You know what I mean? So, you know, recap. Remember one thing, they just legalized marijuana. So what that means is it's going to be a lot of money being made, and the cold part about it, we're not even positioned right now to take advantage of any of that. You know what I mean? And to me, that's sad because our people should be in a better position where we can get some of those permits and we can start doing some of that, making that money, because for the longest time, over the last 40 years, they've been putting our people in jail all across this country. I know y'all not too much in California, but if you go back to Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and all them places, they putting brothers in jail for marijuana still to this day. And you got to remember, the FBI admitted, and Nixon admitted on tape that the only reason why they made all those drugs illegal because they wanted to put us in jail. That's it. You know what I mean? And so, with that being said, everybody that's in jail for drugs, they need to be let out of drugs, let out of jail. Simple as that. And that's just my opinion. We got other people that's coming in. I want to acknowledge everybody that comes in here. Donna Taylor is watching. We got Cinnamon is watching. We got some people that came in here. And, I'm Big Rich. I do this. Y'all go to my, subscribe to that YouTube channel. Just My Opinion, host Big Rich on YouTube. Also, my app, Sports Connect Us, on YouTube. Go check out some of those videos we did with some of the top athletes in the world. And like I said, I want to just plant the seed on us building an empire. And part of that has to be, us coming together and start buying land. And in my opinion, we could start, with some of these cities that has less than 500 people in it and start buying up all that. Because you trust me, when I've been to a lot of these cities, and the land is dirt cheap. I'm talking about dirt cheap. And we talking about California, y'all. California and Nevada, y'all. We not talking about, back in Louisiana and Arkansas. We know that land out there is cheap. And ATL, we talking about right here in California. You know what I mean? You can get land for dirt cheap if you just do a little research. Y'all definitely check me out, www.sportsconnectus.com. Big Rich. We can make it happen. We just gotta, stay focused, man. We really gotta stay focused. 2018 is gonna be it could be a beautiful year if we all just come together on the same accord, and that's real talk. And I just want to tell y'all, I love y'all, and let's make this happen, man. Real talk.